What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Friday. It's gorgeous outside here in Alabama. I'm in the suburbs of Birmingham. Man, it's a beautiful day. And just want to take a moment to praise God that I'm alive and in relatively good health. You know, and a lot of people are dealing with a lot of craziness right now. And man, I got a little taste of it too. As you'll, if you know, maybe this is the first time you're hearing about this or seeing anything from me in a while, or just maybe don't even know me. But my name's Patrick Thomas, and 31-year-old guy, just making my way in the world. I'm a journalist whose sister. I mean, I'm a human being most of all. I don't know why but that's what I do for a living. Whose sister got COVID-19, man, about a month ago, and she's all good now. She tested positive 2.5. Well, she's been positive before that, but we got the results that turned out to be positive a couple of weeks ago. Heck, probably about 20 days. Well, 2 weeks, 20 days, something like that. So, yeah, I have not been to my job. And by been, I have not worked for my job. I mean, I have done some things from home. I've sent some emails. I have been working some. But I have not physically been out in the field working since March 23rd. And I believe it's April 17th today. I hope I'm not wrong. I think that's right. Yeah, thank God. So, man, I mean, quarantine is an animal unto itself. It's its own kind of beast. You know, you're. The thing is like, number one, you know, your phrasing's important right now. So I'm gonna be careful how I say all this. And you get to be at home with your family for an extended amount of time. Now, for those of you who don't have jobs where you're going outside or you get to work strictly from home, good for you. And I pray so many and hope and claim so many of you don't experience anybody who's had symptoms. My sister had some, then now I did have some. Mine have gone away. Hopefully it's going to stay that way. So, but the crazy thing about this is that, you know, you're wondering, what am I going to be? You know, what am I in this equation? Am I going to be one of the ones who gets it and it's bad, and then I end up being on a ventilator in a hospital and you don't make it? Or am I one who goes to the hospital, has a rough time, we're all worrying and wondering, you know, when you're going to get out, and then you do? Or am I somebody who has symptoms, stays at home, and then, you know, you start to recover and you're all good? Or maybe you're a person who catches it but doesn't show any symptoms. This thing is insane. So, yesterday, April 16th, it was my dad's birthday, and it's the first time I've never been able to see him in person if I was in the state of Alabama for his birthday, or if I'm out of state, you know, go shopping for him to send him something in the mail. Just wow. Overall, I'm trying to make the best of it. I was doing good there for a little bit. I've read 2 books. Ava's Man by Rick Bragg. He's a phenomenal writer. He's actually from the state of Alabama. If you've never read his work, and especially if you're a Southern American, I mean, it hits home so much. I mean, I've heard my dad and my nana and pop, my grandmother, you know, talk about, you know, what it was like back in the day, you know, in these Appalachian mountain ranges, and it gives a lot of context to my own personal life. And then, of course, I read, 1984, and that's so applicable right now, this age of misinformation, and some of the comments the president makes. And I'm not going to get into ideology and politics. I don't want to do that. That's not why I'm here. Right now we got to be all together, regardless of what you identify as. Sorry about that, folks. I had to take a quick break. Back to 1984. It just feels so applicable because you hear the president's briefings and he'll make a comment on, like, no, this isn't that. And then not even, well, sometimes a few weeks later, but sometimes not even just a few days later, be like, oh, no, we've been saying this all along. And in 1984, part of one of the tenets of the book is that, forget which of the ministries it's in there. I'll have to look back over it. But, the information is controlled, and then suddenly someone makes a decision that something is no longer a fact, and all the other history erases. For example, in the book, there's Oceania, East Asia, and Eurasia, and Winston, who the story's told through the character, who the story's told through the lens of. Part of his job is like, so one day you could be at war with East Asia, and then boom, the government or powers that be in the book will tell you that you're at war with Eurasia, and you've always been at war with Eurasia, and East Asia is the ally. And then you go back and you erase all the history about all the prior things that were said. So I just found that to be, it's an interesting time that I chose to read it. I read it, but it's interesting that I chose to read it in this time. Otherwise, though, man, I mean, my mental and emotional state's much better. I just was like weird. We had a lot of crying and emotions and tears in my household because for me, I was really scared there for a while when I was like working out in the field that I was gonna possibly give it to somebody, or I was gonna get a case of COVID-19 that was really bad, and I think one of the things I've noticed about all the instances of rough cases in New York City and in these hospitals is that people have so many exposures to people who they're caring for COVID-19. It's like, well, what if I have that and it gets bad? And it's like, I don't want to die from this. And I remember we watched the movie about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and Tom Hanks is starring in it, and I just started boohooing because I just thought about my childhood, and I was like, it takes you back to a good time in your life when that had Mr. Rogers had an impressionable impact on me. I was quite impressionable. It just made me, it's almost like my life was, I was playing it out in my head, and then I know my sister cried. She was afraid that, she'd pass it on to everybody else, and she felt bad. So I think we're mostly through all that. We're doing good. My mom's working from home. She's a school teacher. She's staying here with me. And my sister, she's been working with her team through Zoom and other things. So we're making the most of it. And today, I'm still at home. I got tested 9 days ago, the first time, and then found out Wednesday my results were inconclusive. And I was like, oh my goodness. And make sure you check out the video that I posted of the test. When they swab, they moved around some brain matter in there. I tell you, I was like, man, they recalibrated everything up there for me. I hope it was good, man. If they did jostle some stuff around, I hope it, turns me into some kind of super thinker or something like that, to where I just do all kinds of good stuff for the world and humanity, and maybe make myself a lot of money. Who knows? Probably didn't happen, but wishful thinking nonetheless. So last time, I wish my sister had gotten it on camera, and she accidentally pressed record after it was done. But they swab, for those who haven't seen or don't know. I hope a lot of you never have to find out. They do each nose, but they were having a hard time to get a good sample out of my right nostril, and they did it, and it was just, bloodied. And I remember when they swabbed my sister, she did have a decent amount of blood on the swab, but it wasn't bad. But when I went, it was worse. And this last time, it was just horrible. It was painful. I'm a really tough person, but my sister said, I didn't really know if you were crying or not, which is probably fair. I just had tears coming out of my eyes, and it's just like, they shoved this big, it feels like a broomstick. And she's like, all right, well, we're going to go for another swab on your right side. And I was like, are you kidding me? She did, and she's like, all right, we definitely should be able to get some kind of result after this swab. So I called my boss. I've been calling my boss, Jeff Houston. He's the news director at my news station, ABC 3340. And updated him. He's like, man, this is, there's no playbook for this. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Stay at home. You don't come to work yet. And, right now I'm just in this holding pattern. I called it a nasal swab purgatory. It's basically what it is. And I'm not trying to make light or, joke too much about everything, but that's just kind of where I'm at. I'm in a holding pattern. But, nonetheless, I try to help out some around the house. You can always do more of some things and probably should do less of others. So, yeah, just an interesting time in my life. Tomorrow when I do this, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna think on some stuff tonight and really try to flesh some of that out tomorrow. Talk about some things I've noticed in my life and my sister's, since she tested positive and whatnot, and then get back to y'all. And then I know if I'm gonna keep doing this, I want to have some good centralized thoughts, and so this is life right now, and make the most of it. It's all you can do. You can't do anything about it, and we all got to stay in this thing together, do what they tell us, and we'll get through it. A lot of people have lost their life, and God bless the families that are being strong. And maybe they're not being strong. Maybe they're having they're weak right now, and that's okay to be weak. It's okay to be, or to feel weak. But just know, those folks out there, you're not weak, because you're having to endure something that no one should. The loss of a family member that you can't even tell goodbye, and just know that that when you feel like you have nothing to grapple onto, you're stronger in ways than none of us can imagine right now. So for all the people who are going through this, just want to say I love you. My family loves you. We all love you, and we're in this together, and we're going to get through this. And we don't have a point of comparison, but hopefully brighter days are coming, and I believe that they are, and that's what I choose to believe. And I think I'm going to follow the guidelines and keep the faith and just keep on trucking. And God bless everybody. I love you all, and I'll be back with another vlog post tomorrow. Have a wonderful Friday.